Welcome to Lovin The Loveboat, a fond and funny look back on the world's greatest cruise ship-based television show. I'm Istvan, singer, songwriter, and TV fanatic.
And I'm Michelle, pop culture enthusiast.
Join us as we relive episodes of one of the most watched TV series of all time.
Occasionally deviating to pop culture charts unknown.
So come aboard, we're expecting you for another edition of
Lovin The Loveboat.
Hello.
Hello.
There's no time to waste.
This is the action-packed and celebrity-packed episode.
Where do we even begin?
We begin with welcome. Welcome our old fans. Welcome our new listeners. For those who are not familiar with the Lovin The Loveboat podcast, who are just joining us for the first time, we started watching The Loveboat during the pandemic and discussing how crazy it was. And we decided, wow, this would make a great podcast. So during that time when life was a little slower, we were putting them out every 2 weeks. Now that life is considerably a lot busier now, we're trying to at least get them out once a month.
Well, you're forgetting a major detail.
That is?
Well, we were going episode by episode. We were doing
that's
every
true.
single show from season 1. We covered season 2, and we did get every single episode. We were going to stop the show entirely, but we were saved by a wonderful, loyal fan. And then we decided, hey, we can continue this, but just whenever time permits. And the biggest part is that we were going to start cherry picking episodes, many of which suggested by the listeners themselves. And our last episode was the final one of season 4. And then we were tricked because then it was sort of this giant cliffhanger that then led us to the beginning of season 5. That is a 2-parter.
I know, it's like, oh my gosh. There's 3 of these like total that we have to get through, which I'm excited about, to be perfectly honest. And thank you, anybody else who has suggested episodes to us. We will get to them, but we got to get through this 3-parter. I got to know how it all turns out.
Because, guys, if you have, for whatever reason, not heard the previous episode, Julie had been swept off her feet by some sort of dashing veterinarian and then whisked off to Australia. And we're like, well, now we need to know what happens with Julie. But I mean, how can we not follow up on this?
Right.
So here we are on an airplane on our way to Australia. But first, let's cover, there are 7,000 storylines. I don't even know if I got all this correct. I was like freaking out as this was happening. And there's 7 million guests on the show, including koalas and kangaroos.
I know, I kept writing. I usually write it down as we're watching it. And I'm like, oh my God, wait, there's another one? One?
Let's get this going.
All right.
So I always try to tell the storylines and give credit to the wonderful writing that the show has. So here we go. First, we have The Professor's Wife. This is written by 2 of our old friends, Mr. Ben Jolson and Art Bear. Oh, and then for some reason, Christopher Vane? I don't even know, guys. Oh, and Jill Bear. Art Bear was smart enough to get his wife in on this, so like they'll get 2 checks for this. So they're somehow a part of this massive story. Secondly, we have The Expedition, written by that same group of people. Thirdly, we have Julie's Wedding, written by Tony Webster and Ben Jolson and Art Bear. Fourth, we have The Mangala, written by that same team of writers. Fifth, we have Julie's Replacement, written by Richard Albrecht and somebody else that I couldn't even write down, honestly. The way I watch it, it was really kind of a big pain, so my apologies. And finally, we have The 3 R's, written by, he snuck his way in, Mr. Donald Ross.
So
Michelle,
try to figure out what the 3 R's stand for.
I have no idea. Please tell us the 70,000 people that are on this episode.
I'm going to try to go quickly. We have Anthony Andrews returning as Julie's
dashing
fiance. We have newcomer Delvene Delany. She is the Australian Julie. I was calling her throughout the whole thing. She has no other credits besides this in Internet Movie Database, so I don't know.
Well, being a 1980s beauty, that's for sure.
She sure was. Then we have Donna Dixon.
Oh, yeah.
It's Dr. Jill McCraw.
Donna Dixon, man, she was one of the women that I had a crush on. She was on Bosom Buddies.
Yes,
she was sunny. And I love Donna Dixon a lot.
Also, for a long period of time, married to Dan Aykroyd.
Was she really?
Oh, my gosh, yes. From 1983.
Oh, that's right.
Separated in 2022.
Oh, my gosh.
That's a long run.
That really is.
She was in almost all of his films.
Holy cow. Yeah, that's right. Oh, like, was she in Spies Like Us, that
Yes,
crappy
she was.
movie? Oh, I hated
She was
that
in
movie.
every single Dr. Detroit, all of them.
Oh, my God. Dan Aykroyd's career. Holy God. Okay, keep going, please.
Then we have the great Patrick Duffy
Yeah, handsome Patrick Duffy.
as Ralph Sutton.
With one of the most subtle and fantastic New Zealand accents
Oh my God,
you're
that's
ever
in my
gonna
notes.
hear.
I was saving it until we started discussing it because I'm like, I know I can't hear very well, and then I'm like, is he trying to make an accent?
He
on
was.
top of
I
all
think he
this?
was speaking quietly because the accent was so weak. But who
So
knows?
bad.
Because there's a lot going on with this. Okay,
But
sorry.
everybody knows him as Bobby Ewing.
I don't. But go. Oh yes, I do.
from Dallas, and also I learned it really quick. He has a nickname called the Duffster.
Cool.
Yeah. Then we have Jose Ferrer as Deke Donner. Professor Deke Donner. I don't know. I don't trust him in this episode.
He's awesome.
Fun fact, first Hispanic actor to win an Academy Award.
All right, Jose.
So that's pretty impressive. He's pretty a classic actor. I will move on. Gary Frank is Dr. Barry Mason. I remember him from Family. Did you ever watch Family when you were a kid?
Hell no.
Okay.
I remember. Wait, because like Christy McNichol was on that, right?
She sure was.
Yeah, I like her very
and
much.
Quinn Cummings and
but I
Meredith
didn't-
Baxter. He played one of the son.
I think that show was too like serious or something for me, so I didn't get into it. It teetered on the brink, but I never watched it. No.
It was kind of realistic, I suppose. Then we have Jenilee Harrison. Everybody knows her from Three's Company.
Yeah. She's great too. I like her.
I learned that she was only 21 when she replaced Suzanne Summers. It's interesting. Then, she plays Cindy Straw. We have Katherine Helmond, Miss Vivian
Are you sure about
Endler.
that? I got it all wrong. I have her written down as Connie Wilbur, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Katherine Helmond is Vivian Endler. She's married to Henry Morgan.
Wait, what? No, you said like Jenilee Harrison was Cindy Straw, or was that's from Three's Company?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Cindy Snow. Sorry. No, you're right.
Straw Snow. Okay. Oh my God, we are messed.
You know what?
Done.
You know what? Because the names were going so fast.
No, I'm telling you, man.
I can't read my handwriting, to be perfectly honest.
Let's just make it all up now. Who cares what anything is? What difference
Everyone knows
does it make?
Katherine Helmond from Soap and Mona.
Sexual older woman always.
Always.
And she is on this cruise, people. Woo.
Then we have Henry Morgan as Professor Endler.
Hey guys, remember way back when Harry Morgan was on as like the gambling husband and he
Oh,
had the whole
that's
family
right.
in debt? Does anybody remember way back when things were simpler for us? I yearn for those
Episodes
days.
were shorter, not 3 parters.
But you know what he did? He took that to heart. He really felt embarrassed that he wasn't able to provide for his wife. Although he isn't kind of on this one, but he did become a professor in the meantime, a professor of like anthropology or whatever. Sorry.
That's all right. Then we have Michelle Phillips.
Yeah, she's good, man. She's a good actress.
She's a good actress, and she was obviously in The Wonderful Mamas and the Papas. Then we have Patrick Ward as the Mangala.
See, I have nothing. I didn't thank you for highlighting that because I didn't know who he was. I just have his name down. The Mangala.
And then last but not least, we have Elizabeth the Koala, who got a credit.
Yeah.
And now I wrote down Tina the Kangaroo, or
It
is
is.
it Tiny?
I have Tiny the Kangaroo.
Yeah, I was writing. Things were going too quickly. It is Tiny the Kangaroo. Well, that's the whole cast.
All right, well, let's just dive in, you guys. As this episode starts, again, we are following Julie from the previous season who was swept off her feet by a dashing veterinarian, and he got the job offer of a lifetime in Australia. And so she goes on vacation to go visit him. And for some reason, the whole crew is now on an airplane heading to visit her. Or no, they're like doing some sort of like
No, it's some kind of
switcheroo.
Australian cruise they're doing.
Holy cow.
Which it made no sense to me.
Guys, there's a lot going on. But the crew is all on an airplane together, and they're making their way down under.
This may be heresy coming from me, but flying isn't a bad way to travel.
Until you want to step outside for a breath of fresh air.
Dan, I'm so excited I can't stand it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're now making our final approach into Sydney. From all of us to all of you, welcome to Australia.
Thank you. South Sea Island, here we come.
Well, we're lucky our ship's in dry dock. I know guys who'd kill for an assignment like this.
No wonder Julie spent her whole vacation down here. I can't wait to see her.
Did you notice, and I remember my grandmother who flew a lot, how cool the airplanes were back then? Had the spiral staircase.
Oh, I know. I don't think I did.
Oh, because my grandma used to tell me when she would fly to Hawaii or whatever to her cruises, the big, I don't know what airplanes they were, like a jumbo jet or something, but they had like a second level that was usually like a cocktail lounge or a bar. So you would take that exotic spiral staircase up to the top. Now you're lucky if you get a bag of peanuts.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of the massive complaint of like air travel was a lot more fancy back in the day.
It was more elegant. Like you dress up nice. And
No,
you
but they're
travel.
all very excited, and rightfully so, because they're headed to Australia for the first time, and they have the luxury air flight to enjoy. I'm jealous. Guys, we're on the Bizarro World Other Princess line, which actually to me looked kind of nicer, looked a little more sophisticated than the Pacific Princess.
Sure did.
The Australian version. But, we're on the deck of a very windy day, that's for sure, because everybody's hair is whipping all over the place. And we're doing a standard get to know who is going to be on the cruise. And even though we're down under, Doc's still Doc. And he sees the attractive Michelle Phillips, and he makes a beeline for her. But she is kind of...
concerned.
Yeah, a little concerned, a little reticent, a little somber and dark.
Can I help you, miss?
Oh, you're in uniform?
Well, it's required. I'm the ship's doctor.
Doctor. I've never been on a ship before.
Really?
No, I've never been on a vacation before. Anywhere. Do you think it's safe?
Safe.
I mean, for a single person.
Oh, safe for men.
Well, I read about shipboard Romeos.
Oh, you can spot him a mile away. Just watch out for him. How about a nightcap? And can I walk you to your cabin? Anybody bothers you, you come straight to me. Deal?
Deal.
Have a pleasant cruise.
Thank you.
So the Duffster comes on. Somehow he owns a cattle ranch in New Zealand.
His New Zealand accent was so bad. And it's just so funny to me. And I love when things are bad like
Me
that.
too, but I mean, I'm glad I wasn't going crazy because every time I'm like,
Who has better hair, Patrick Duffy or Bert Convy? Which one of the two? It would be such a like battle
I
of
thought
the
you were
network
throw
stars.
yourself in there too.
No. Like of these two guys,
I'm gonna go Bert Convy.
his is denser. I
His
would go
is denser. That's what I'm saying.
I'm into the Duffster more myself. His is a little more flowy and free, but I like
It
it
is.
still stays together really nice, even though it's being taxed by
He
the
was a
wind.
handsome man back in the day. I believe my mom and her friends really had a
I
crush
think that's
on
good
him.
taste. I give you a thumbs up on the Duster. But it's like this dude, he comes on, and this is very confusing, you guys, because it feels like he knows Michelle Phillips because he goes towards her, and then there's this other woman from Three's Company, and somehow there's all these things that they're kind of alluding to, but I don't really know, and I'm going to leave this to Michelle because she's better at figuring this stuff out.
I didn't figure it out till later. I thought he was just going to be a fraud because
Well, you don't know yet. You don't know, right? You don't know that he's not a fraud or that he is a fraud, or we don't know yet. But the thing is, he sees Michelle Phillips, goes and talks to her like he knows her and stuff, but after all is said and done, he still needs to figure out where the hell his cabin is. So he goes and talks to Gopher and Isaac, and they're alluding to things that are problematic with our dashing New Zealand ranch owner.
Excuse me. Sir, I have my glasses. I can't see a thing without them.
Oh, certainly, Mr. Sutton. You're on A deck cabin 116. That's up to the right.
Thank you very much. Mr. Sutton. A-Tech 116. Thank you. Oh, sure. Listen, while you're here, let me give you your dinner sitting. Here's the schedule of our stops. This is our activity schedule. Oh, and this little item is a raffle ticket. You might win a bicycle. I'll tell you what, you keep that. Much use for a bicycle on the cattle ranch in New Zealand, is there?
Oh, you work on a ranch?
No, worse, I own one. Again, thank you very much.
clue number one,
Yes?
besides his terrible fake accent,
Yes.
fake glasses.
Yeah. See, now there's a thing that I think is happening, and maybe it's too early to say so. What do you think?
What are you going to say?
That the dude can't read.
Well, that's exactly what the problem is. The 3 R's.
Oh, man, I'm stupid.
Read.
But
Right,
every single time I guess something, I think I guess wrong. Like the Love Boat actually lures me into
No,
something, and I'm
He
incorrect.
can't read because he couldn't read the menu, if you recall that part. Well, I'm jumping ahead. but
Yeah, don't ruin
Go
it.
on,
Come
go
on, bro.
on, go on.
All right, well,
Of the
there's the
intros.
Duffster. Dude is struggling with words. Now, ladies and gentlemen, my favorite part of this entire excursion down under is we have at least one of the most attractive anthropologists that have ever walked the face of the earth. And at some point, I definitely going to post the photo of Donna Dixon with
Her bandana.
her bandana, like her I'm going to go in the Outback bandana on is one of my favorite things of all time. Ill-fitting sideways bandana. She looks so pretty, but then it's so ridiculous.
I guess they're trying to make her both glamorous and like she's in the jungle.
That she's authentic.
And fashionable.
It is so great. I can't stand it. It's what I love about the show so much.
This one was over the top. Again, their cliffhangers and two-parters are always over the top.
But these two, this sort of like kind of couple, because it's a whole other element of their relationship.
Yes, they're an anthropology couple.
They make their way onto the ship as well.
Excuse me. Yes. We're looking for the veranda deck?
Yes, that's 2 decks up. I'm Captain Steuben. Welcome aboard.
Oh, it's nice to meet you, Captain. I'm Dr. Barry Madison, and this is my colleague, Dr. Jill McGraw.
We're anthropologists on the Inler expedition.
Oh, yes, we've been expecting you. Fascinating business you're in.
Well, it's just another incredible journey in the quest of primitive man and his strange and exotic customs. For instance, did you know in certain Fijian tribes, a man will simply carry off the woman of his choice and then later negotiate the deal with her father?
Before you get any fancy ideas, Barry, remember, my father's a cop in Chicago.
Well, if I can help you with anything within reason, don't hesitate to call.
Thank you.
Doctor, thank you.
I'm really looking forward to this trip. You know, Professor Inler knows the South Sea customs like the back of his hand.
Speaking of hands, Jill, shouldn't we pick out your engagement ring soon?
Barry, I told you I needed time to think. I can't make this decision overnight.
You call 3 years, 6 months, and 5 days of steady dating overnight?
Time is relative, Barry.
Yes, and that's exactly what I want us to be. Relatives. Husband and wife. Oh, Jill, marry me and I promise to do better jokes.
It's almost worth it. By the way, where is Professor Inler?
And next up, we have Harry Morgan, Katherine Helmond as, the professor and his wife. And it's a familiar scenario on the Love Boat. Ignored wife.
Yeah, she ain't happy.
She is not happy. But, I don't blame her because she immediately sets her sights on the captain.
Oh, my God. Don't give it all away yet. Hang on. They haven't even gotten onto the ship yet. So these two are like hailing a cab somewhere, and she is not happy with the situation because Harry Morgan is like so focused on his work. And then he gets like, there's an original thing that they're supposed to do with the other anthropologists, but then he gets some sort of like memo or like some sort of like, what is it called?
Like a telegram?
Yeah, I can't remember. He gets a telegram from an old friend about some other discovery. And so he needs to go investigate that before he gets on the ship. So Mona is not happy at all.
Professor Endler. Excuse me, sir. This message is meant for you. It's not urgent.
Oh, thank you.
What now?
Deke Donner. Wonder what he's doing in Sydney.
Deke Donner. Well, that's certainly a name out of the past, and one that should stay there.
I've got to go and see him.
Milo, what for? The man was thrown out of the university in disgrace.
He says it's terribly important. Vivian Donner and I go back a long way. The least I can do is meet with him. Look for Dr. Madison and Dr. McGraw on the ship. I'll get there as soon as I can.
Sure, Milo. I think it's admirable the way you're always available when someone needs you. Unless, of course, that someone happens to be your wife.
And Michelle, how good of a professor is Harry Morgan if, like, he just sees a picture of something and then he's, like, all in?
Honestly?
Explain what the picture is. Explain what I'm talking about.
It's the missing link.
Yeah, well, from whom? Who does he get this from? His old pal, Deke Dickerson. What's the dude's name?
That's what I keep thinking, too.
What is this guy's name?
Deke Donner, who's a professor or who's
he's
got
ashamed.
He's a scammer.
He gambled away all
the university's money.
So he calls his old buddy Harry Potter, Colonel Potter, and then it's like he tells him like, I think I've got the discovery of a lifetime. Shows him like a picture in his like weird file, and then Harry Morgan completely believes all this.
Well, wait, and not only does he show him a picture, then he's like, I've already put all the equipment on the ship and it's waiting for you. How did he get that to happen, number one?
I got another question about that altogether.
And number two, how did he know that he was even going to be into it?
Well, he's a scam artist. Maybe he saved a little bit of the money from the university that he gambled away, and then he spent his rest.
I like that on cruise ships you can transport chimpanzees, orphans, pieces of art.
Well, maybe that's why, because people always say, like, you're in international water, so you can get away with anything. Like, maybe that's why, because when you're out on the sea, man, the sea is like has no rules, so this is where all the flim-flam artists go to do all their dirty business.
I guess so.
You go out on the sea. So that's the thing. Harry Morgan sees this picture, and he's all in with his friend that they are going to now check out this groundbreaking discovery.
Dick?
Hello, Milo. I was afraid you wouldn't come.
You said it was urgent. I'm listening, but I don't have long.
Milo, I've come upon something that's truly amazing, but they just won't believe me unless someone who is as respected as you are verifies it.
No one was more respected than you, Deke, until you gambled away the university's money at the racetrack.
I've made mistakes, Milo, but this discovery can bring me back.
What discovery? Good Lord.
The natives call it the Mangala.
Incredible.
I thought you'd be interested, so I took the liberty of loading all the necessary equipment on your ship. I'll see you in Fiji in 2 days, huh?
I better go prepare my colleagues.
Now, Milo, I want your word that you'll tell no one about this until we meet in La Tota.
Well, we can certainly trust my
When I say no one, I mean no one. If we let this get out, every two-bit glory seeker in the world will be there.
All right, agreed. If what I saw is true, this could be the find of the century.
Michelle.
Yeah?
I was asking you the last time of, like, is this, because this is like the thing, like, I don't like to touch on these things. You're the tabloid queen, right? So you know all the dirt on people, and that in real life, Lauren Hughes had an issue with cocaine.
She did.
Because it was the 1980s. And then this caused trouble, in her life, because then she got bounced from the show for real. And so I was asking, is this how they were setting this up to get rid of her? Because on the cruise, they're all asking, where's Julie? Where's Julie? And she's nowhere to be found.
I don't quite think this is where she was bounced yet.
Okay, because that's what it was leading me to believe. Because as we really set sail on this cruise, the captain's wondering where she is, which was confusing to me that, like, she's supposed to be on there. And then all of a sudden we find that she's got some sort of, replacement.
Yes. I called her the Australian Julie.
She's lovely.
She uses a lot of Australian lingo and
I love
slang.
the slang. Yeah, it's awesome.
A lot of Australian slang. I mean, she was really whipping them out one after the other.
They were having fun with the Australian terms. But yeah, we meet her, and I guess she's taken Julie's place for this cruise, and maybe more.
Has either of you heard from Julie?
No, sir. Not yet. Maybe she didn't get word we were leaving today.
No, when she went on her Australian vacation, she had her schedule.
Now, this isn't like Julie. I hope she's all right.
Captain Stebbing?
Yes?
Yvonne Petty reporting for work, sir.
What sort of work do you do, Miss Petty?
I work for the line in Sydney. They told me to come on to replace Miss McCoy.
Julie? Where is she?
I don't know, Captain. There's a telephone number where she can be reached.
We can't call ship to shore until we're at sea. In the meantime, welcome aboard, cruise director. If you'll follow me, I'll fill you in on your duties.
Thank you, sir.
Michelle, you know what's gross about this episode to me?
What?
Now, I love our crew. I want them all to be happy, but I am disgusted by PDAs, public displays of affection, and that's all that we see from Tony and Julie.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It is nonstop.
It's pointless, so much of it. In front of the grandma and everything.
And the koalas.
Right. And the emus.
Oh, my God. It's so gross. And so it's like these two are in some sort of, like, perfect Australian
sanctuary
setting. With a perfect picnic basket. And I don't know if you noticed Tony's weird boots, his stiff boots that he had.
I usually notice clothing.
Oh, he had like beige boots on, like his beige cowboy vet boots, I guess is what you have to wear.
I was like, because I just kept thinking like as a little kid, this would have been like my dream to be like, not to be with Dr. Tony, but to be with like feeding baby kangaroos a bottle.
Yeah, and then you just walk past your cockatoo bird that's sitting there.
A koala.
Hi, Michelle.
So like as a kid, or even now, it would be like a dream job. Totally totally unrealistic. They would just let this like cruise director just start handling animals and
Yeah, well, these two are head over heels in love, head over like weird boots in love, and like they're smooching left and right, and it's kind of gross to me, but we're all happy for Julie, aren't we?
Elizabeth, you know what a lucky koala you are to live up here. It's beautiful.
Not nearly as beautiful as you.
I've got a great idea. Why don't we just stay here for the rest of our lives?
I can think of a better way of spending the time.
The time! The ship must have already sailed. Come on, we gotta get back in case they call.
Fickle soul, aren't you?
Thank you.
You know, The Love Boat is maybe the best show to ever contrast things, you guys. And as we see Julie and Tony, you know, in a relationship that is blooming, blossoming, and nothing but happiness, we see the other side of things. In a marriage, a long marriage, Michelle, of 15 whole years.
like, oh my God, when they said that, I was like, what?
We're not as old as them. We've been together way longer.
I know.
It's like
or maybe we are older than them.
Oh, maybe
it was
that's
the
true.
70s and 80s.
I'm 5 years older than Colonel Potter right now somehow. How could that be? That may be true. That actually may
well
be true.
Be true.
Okay, but these two are not at that point in their marriage. And you know what? Much like Michelle, Mona is completely taken with Captain Steubing.
I would be. If you and I were on that cruise and you were performing as a musician and you were all concerned about your performance, I would mainline straight to the captain.
Yeah, and I don't care, like Colonel Potter, completely don't care. And so these two, she makes it very, very known to everybody within earshot of how unhappy she is. And it seems to be the beginnings of a potential affair.
Milo, why in the world are you so fidgety?
Because I shouldn't be here. I should be down in the hold checking that equipment.
Yes, of course. Why waste time with your wife when a shovel might be missing?
Vivian, dear, please, try to understand.
Professor and Mrs. Endler, we haven't met. I'm Captain Steubing.
Hello.
Captain?
How are you? Enjoying the party?
Well, all the more so now that you've arrived.
Oh, thank you. Your wife is a charming woman, Professor.
Well, it takes a charming man to recognize the fact.
Another love connection that is trying to happen on this cruise ship is Patrick Duffy and Michelle Phillips. Well, Patrick Duffy's trying to make it happen with Michelle Phillips.
Yeah, she's really cautious, maybe rightfully so.
I'd say rightfully so.
But it's just strange because it's like he really is like zones in on her in this way as if like I thought like they knew one another, the whole thing, you know? Because that's the other thing is with the other woman, she like made a comment to like Vicky earlier, like he's the one that I can do something for me. Like she knew who he was.
Because he's a ranch owner. He's got money.
Well, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. It just struck me as weird because it's not like he's a famous person and then
no, she just overheard
who it
he
is.
had the ranch and Jenilee is like a gold digger. So she's like trying to get in on that action.
Well, she's really like cock blocking the whole thing because he is really trying to like get to know Michelle Phillips and is just having a heck of a time doing so.
Hello. Remember me? This is a get acquainted cocktail party. I suppose we should get acquainted. I'm Ralph Sutton. How do you do? I live in New Zealand. Can I get you a drink?
No, thank you.
Something to eat, perhaps?
I'm Connie Wilbur, and I'm both thirsty and starving.
Yes, well, we'll have to fix that, won't we?
By all means.
Michelle?
Yeah?
There's something that also is wonderful beyond a lot of the love that's taking place on this episode. Andrews is there. Did you notice that?
I did. I got very excited. I'm like,
but they called him Andy. They called him Andy.
Know.
And he's there for a very important reason.
I still maintain he's like a, like a friend of Aaron Spelling,
guys,
like a
here, hang on,
poker
Michelle.
buddy or something, and he keeps throwing him these
hang
bit
on.
rolls.
No one even knows what we're talking about, probably. If you are new to the show, if you have not been there all along, midway through like the second season, all of a sudden they introduced this weird side character called Andrews. He's like this older guy. He seemed like a really sweet guy.
Like a valet almost.
He was just like delivering clothes, and we like loved Andrews. So he's on the Australian ship.
So glad they brought him along.
There's all these minor characters that we have really become fascinated with. Andrews is one of them. So he's there. They call him Andy, and he is in charge of the ship-to-shore call from Julie because she completely missed the cruise. And she calls all of the people, all the crew are gathered in the little control room to get this phone call. And she makes one heck of an announcement.
Hey, Andy, you got her yet?
Yes? Hello, Rossworth Station? This is Sea Princess calling Miss Julie McCoy. Over.
Put it on loudspeaker, will you, Andy?
Very good.
Julie, you're called from the Sea Princess.
Oh, excuse me, guys. I've been waiting for this. Hello?
Hello, Julie. This is Captain Stubing.
Hello? Is everybody there?
Yeah, we're all here, Julie. Now, what happened, Julie? Why didn't you report back to the ship?
Oh, for a very good reason.
Well, do you want to tell us about it?
Sure. I'm getting married.
What? Congratulations!
Oh, Julie, that's wonderful. I'm marrying Dr. Tony Selkirk, the most wonderful man in the whole world.
She means the luckiest man in the whole world.
And as my closest and dearest friends, I'd like you all to come to the wedding, please.
Well, when is it?
When's wedding?
Saturday afternoon.
The day after the ship arrives back in Sydney.
You couldn't keep us away, Julie.
Oh, great! Then we have a couple favors to ask. Tony first.
Oh. Isaac, Doc, and Gopher, would you mind being my ushers?
We thought you'd never ask.
Delighted.
And Vicky, would you mind being my bridesmaid?
Mine? Oh, Julie, I'd love to.
Oh, good. Oh, and Captain, sir, I'd love it if you'd give me away, would you please?
I'd be honored, Julie. God bless you both.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 All right, I find it odd.
Yes?
Why weren't her parents invited?
Don't know.
I mean, maybe they will show up. I don't know yet. But she doesn't mention them
Well,
at
she was
all.
on vacation, and now she's just all of a sudden getting married. And
right,
it's like next
and now
Saturday.
Captain Stubing is giving her away rather than her. Like, they ask all the crew to participate, which I get.
How do you plan a wedding that fast, though, man?
Well,
do you see how nice his grandma's house was?
Oh, my gosh.
Holy cow.
I want that house.
That thing looked amazing today in 2024. Like, it looked, like, it didn't
It
look
looked
dated.
modern, right?
Oh, my
it
God.
didn't look like something in the 70s or 80s.
It looked kick-ass. That's what it looked like. It had a killer pool right next to the real water. Although now with, like, climate change and stuff like that, I would be afraid because the water probably has engulfed that entire home.
I can't complain because my one grandmother had the Hawaiian condo. So.
I would have pushed that grandma into the ocean and then taken that house,
Well, how
man.
do you know? They may get it later. And she just
Oh
so
my
happened
God.
to have a wedding dress that would fit Julie. How convenient.
So great. You know, I got to say, man, Julie's making the right decision. This
She
guy's
really
got
is.
it down. He's got the killer job with all the cool animals. And then it's like the grandma just happens to have like the most dope like house on
They're
the
like
water.
A early version of, what's his name? Crocodile Hunter.
Dude, there was like a ladder going into the ocean, so like you could get on like a catamaran or something like that. It's just like I
Or
would
maybe
have,
there
you know
was a
what?
private beach down
I would have
there.
started romancing the grandmother, and just like all of a sudden I'm there, like, like I marry the grandma, and then I'm just living in that house. You can go off with Captain Stubing, I don't care, because like I'd be in that killer house like tanning every single day. It'd be so great. Well, yeah. So supposedly Julie's getting married in a week or whatever. And everyone's going to be invited and has their own little jobs. Are you excited for her, Michelle?
I am. I really hope it pans out. Istvan.
Yeah.
We're now in nighttime, dinner time.
I love dinner.
I do too.
I love it.
But
I
they
didn't notice food, though.
I was going to say, I was disappointed because there really wasn't much of the spread out that I
Because there's so much going on this
I
episode.
know, they didn't have time to make food. But we have our second Patrick Duffy clue.
Yes.
They're reading. Michelle Phillips lets him join her for dinner.
Oh, yeah. He pulls out his Harry Carey glasses.
He pulls out his Harry Carey. But they're reading the menu. He asks what the special is. Michelle Phillips says she'll have the filet of sole.
Oh, I love this clip.
And then he says, I'll just have the special. And then the waiter goes,
bitchy waiter goes off on him in the most snarky wonder. Oh, I love that waiter. I hope he's a regular. He was awesome.
Excuse me. Can I join you?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. Ralph Sutton, remember? I didn't get your name before. Perhaps I could have it now.
Barbara. Barbara Carroll.
Hello, Barbara. It's my first time at sea. Well, actually, it's my first holiday. Been working too long on the ranch. What do you do?
I teach English. Unfortunately, most of my students don't seem to take much of an interest.
Well, I'm not even in your class, and I've already taken an interest.
Are we ready to order?
Ah, yes. Do you have a special?
It's right up here, sir.
I'll have the filet of sole.
I'm not in the mood for a fillet of sole, so I'll just have the special.
Sir, the fillet of sole is the special.
Oh, well, I just got in the mood. Waiter, that's 2 fillets of sole.
No, you're totally right, and this is what giving it away, that this dude doesn't know how to read. He just, I don't know. We're gonna find out whatever this lengthy backstory is, and I cannot wait.
Oh, I can't wait. Like they've really got me hook, line, and sinker, pun intended, for this 3-parter.
Yeah, but see, at dinner, this is like a very rocky dinner, because then just not too far away, the captain is hanging out with everybody, and Vivian is still being a world-class bee because she never stops taking digs at her husband, and it's really uncomfortable, and they're all like being very, very gracious about this, but she is so ham-fisted with her insults to her husband.
You must be very proud of your husband, Mrs. Endler. He's won so many prestigious awards.
Well, awards are nice, but they seldom impress one's creditors.
I'm afraid riding around in the back of a Jeep isn't exactly Vivian's idea of the good life.
Well, it sounds like fun. Well, perhaps we could trade places. Personally, I can't think of anything more exciting than sailing to exotic places with a handsome man like your father.
Thank you.
You know, at this point, Michelle, like, I think, you know, we're about to get into the parts that are the best, almost Fantasy Island-esque elements of this.
True.
But I like this because this is very Brady Bunch-esque, this whole part of it, because they are on location, so then they're showing all, like, the weird native music that the people have to do for the stupid tourists.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot about that with Isaac.
Then there's also, like, when they're on the little ship and they go into Gilligan's Island Cove because they're going to find some sort of, like, half-beast, half-man character or whatever. I love all that stuff because it's, like, so obviously weird and different. But we are heading into what is he called, the Mangala?
But before we get into that, did you notice prior to the Isaac and Australian Julie going off for their cultural expedition, when Doc and Gopher were talking to her, trying to get her to go with them,
and they both have weird pimp hats on,
and Doc's super short shorts
and he's got
way more than I needed to see.
Like he has a testicular camel toe going on.
He does. That's a good way to put it.
I don't know how that didn't hurt. He has his nads split directly down the middle. Like each one is perfectly represented on either side of his weird tennis shorts, and it's not painful to him to have that happening.
It's like, but that's a good way to put it, as a male camel toe.
Guess what was the second photo I took while I was doing the clips? It's that clip. Ladies and gentlemen, please, if you aren't following our Instagram, please do, because you're going to get to see.
If you need to see,
Bernie Coppell camel toe is going to be on full display in the next day or two. Lucky you. But they have pimp hats on too at the same time.
It's so weird.
Like weird pimp hats. Like Bernie Coppell has sort of like a Huggy Bear sort of like soft cap.
It doesn't even go with his shorts outfit.
And then Gopher's got some sort of like fedora with a feather in it, and it's like, why did they put those hats on them at that point?
Because they're in Australia.
Oh my God.
Exotic.
Yeah, it's so weird because this is like they're going to go on, and then like Isaac swoops in, and then he's just having a good time and he's enjoying himself.
I'm so glad that was Isaac that took her out, because he was totally getting into everything.
Yeah, he was having fun. He liked that they were in a different locale, so he takes her like on the land, and then they go see sort of like some of the stuff that is only specific and indigenous to that area, which is kind of cool. Michelle, these anthropologists, you know, they're co-workers, they're peers, but at the same time, they've kind of been together, I believe, romantically.
Yes.
For 3 years, like 24 days and 15 minutes or something like that, because this guy's trying to get her to like marry him, but she's like you. She's very slow in her decision-making process.
Maybe she's a free spirit and doesn't want to be tied down.
Maybe. She doesn't want to rush into anything like that. And while they're having this long, drawn-out conversation, they notice Harry Potter. up to something, and they investigate.
Ah, it's a beautiful night tonight, don't you think? Yes, I do. And you look very handsome tonight, Barry. I do? How nice of you to say it. Don't mention it. I won't.
Oh, Barry. I'm sorry. I guess I'm just, excited about the expedition tomorrow.
We could have plenty of excitement tonight, Jill.
Barry. Barry, look.
Where do you think the professor could be coming from at this hour?
Come on, let's find out.
Oh. Jill, maybe we shouldn't go in there.
Why not? We're part of the In There expedition, aren't we? Cage.
Look at those chains and shackles.
We've never brought back anything alive before.
Jill, what kind of an expedition is this?
Did you just call him Harry Potter?
Probably.
It would be Henry
Colonel
Potter.
Potter. I don't know. I swear to God, man, I was so lost with names and people and anything.
I'm going to say there's so much going on. Thank God my brain can take on 9,000 different things at one time.
Yeah, so Colonel Harry Potter was down below and checking out the stuff. They snoop in there and find out that there's some sort of cage, and that now they're in for it. But then I think shortly thereafter, I think I don't know why he waited, right? Because then he does tell them what they're about to do, correct?
Yes, he does. Their original mission has been put to the side for this new mission.
Jill, Barry, now that we're in Latoka, I think you should know what this is all about. It seems there are rumors about a creature known as the Mangala roaming an island not far from here.
What kind of creature?
A creature that's half man, half beast. I know it sounds incredible, but there's a chance the Mangala is the fabled missing link.
Is that possible?
That's quite a statement, Professor. Do you have some evidence to back you up?
I've seen pictures. They're not very clear, mind you, but I'm convinced it's worth investigating.
Well, if there's anything there, I'll get it on film.
Can you imagine if it's true?
We could solve the evolutionary riddle, prove that man evolved from lower animals. I'll say goodbye to Vivian, then we'll go. Listen, dear, I've got to leave immediately. Captain, could I impose on you to look after Vivian while I'm gone?
It will be my pleasure.
And mine.
Goodbye, Vivian.
Now, during all this, finally for me, it did kind of make sense. Because initially I was getting annoyed with Mona because she was being, so mean and everything like that. But then it's just when you see, Colonel Potter, Harry Morgan, just getting completely engrossed in what is happening, you can see that maybe he has been neglectful, to his wife. And all this time, I mean, she has just been kind of throwing herself at the captain.
He's a good man, though.
Yeah, he is. Because, they go on shore together and they're looking at sugar cane and laughing.
It was weird, though, that they were holding hands walking on the beach.
Yes,
especially after he already told her that nothing will come of this.
Yeah, it's you're a married woman, but let's still hold hands and have a romantic afternoon with one another. But that's the case, and it's she just keeps making strong moves for the captain, and he is doing his best to try and be a valiant dude.
I was thinking about the sugar cane moment.
Oh my God, it's so weird. And so she keeps trying to make out with him, and he's doing his best to put up some defense.
Oh, goodness.
Paradise, isn't it?
It truly is. That isn't just a joke.
No.
Well, this day certainly turned out to be more interesting than I expected.
Yes.
Thanks to you, Merrill.
Right, thank you, Vivian. I'm just surprised you didn't go with your husband on the expedition. Could have been quite a thrill.
Well, for one thing, he didn't ask me. Anyway, Merrill, thrills happen because you make them happen. And I cannot imagine a more beautiful setting than this to make them happen.
Vivian, listen. You're a very appealing woman. And I'm flattered
to think that you're attracted to me. Look, don't throw your marriage away just because you're bored.
Well, it isn't a matter of being just a little bored. You know, Milo and I have been together for 15 years.
Don't you think 15 years deserves another chance?
With a man like you around?
All right, I have another question for you.
Oh my God!
Because
yes.
you know how I think way too much about these episodes and logistics.
No, I never noticed.
It was a 50-mile boat ride.
Was it?
That's what they said to the Mangala.
Oh my God!
But somehow they made it there and back before the ship set sail. But anyway,
They were hauling ass on that boat,
the boat
though.
was. And then it was like a Gilligan's Island episode as they were pulling into the channel.
Oh, I loved it. Into the lagoon.
Yeah.
And then the natives, you know, with their little like wrap around like clothing, come and pull the boat. You know, make sure it's secure. Donna Dixon jumps off with her little headband on.
And her camera. All of a sudden, she's the photographer.
I didn't know that Anthropology weighed so heavily on photography, but she's ready with a camera. Right. You know what's weird about this is, like, okay, they're on the boat, and, like, you know, we've all established now, like, they're all checking out the equipment that, you know, Michelle was stunned, and rightfully so, that it was on the ship already, good to go. But then when they get there and say, well, because this is the thing, he shows up out of nowhere and says, we caught him.
Yeah.
We got him.
We got him.
It's like they didn't have to do anything. Like, we got him. And he's like, yeah, like 50 miles offshore or whatever. So then as soon as they get there, 4 poor native people have to carry this wild beast man.
In a wicker basket.
Yeah, why didn't they have a better cage for him? If they have the special cage on the ship, why did they have to fashion one out of sticks? So they put him in a stick cage.
It's wicker. Like a wicker basket. I'm like, he's totally going to jump out of this and attack Donna Dixon.
Yeah,
because
man.
it's so easy to get out of.
Yeah, so these guys get there, and it's an awesome scene. And, like, I just love... Hey, you know what I was thinking about? As a kid, I had to think that you had a pith helmet at some point. Did you ever have a pith helmet?
Not sure, but it's definitely something I would have wanted to have as a kid.
I felt
and
like
a monocle.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
like a
exploring.
Magnifying glass and a pith helmet.
I know I had like magnifying glass and like a whole like a bag with like all that stuff.
All right, but you don't know for sure that you had one.
No, that's
right.
not like totally ringing a bell, but you're not far off on my childhood.
I thought I bet Michelle had a pith helmet. But the men did. Donna Dixon still had her little bandana on, and then these guys are carrying him down, and then yes, Michelle, you called it. The Mangala, he jumps out of his cage, and she screams, and then also is screaming, but you don't hear any screaming because the edit's weird. And then, like, Jose Ferrer just shoots him.
I thought it was a gun, but then we later find out it's a tranquilizer dart.
Yeah. And then they head back to the ship, and, like, they've got him. You know, they've got him down.
Wait, one more question. Nobody questioned them bringing this Mangala onto a cruise ship where, if he's dangerous, there's passengers on the ship that just think they're on a vacation.
Dude, Jose Ferrer paid off people. Like, he paid, like, some of the crew off. It's like, hey, just keep your mouth shut. We're going to bring this thing on, and don't worry about it. Here's $50. And in 1979, you could get away with that. You know what I
guess.
mean? Pay somebody off with, like, $100, and you're going to be all good.
Just going to keep him in this cage with shackles.
Yeah, but that's the thing. A good scene is a cage scene where Donna Dixon is like taking care of him like he's a chimpanzee or something like that with some ointment. She just says
That's like
ointment.
King Kong. It's turning into like a King Kong subplot.
And they're all just staring at him, but she's completely in the cage, and they're like, "Be careful."
She's nursing his wounds, his dart wounds.
Look at him, Milo. I promised you something sensational, didn't I?
It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen.
Are we going to stand around here all night gaping at him? It makes my flesh crawl.
Vivian.
Don't worry about me, Milo. I'm used to being alone.
Are you sure she's safe in there?
Relax. I shot him with enough tranquilizer to buckle a bull elephant.
There. That should prevent any infection.
Watch out!
No! It's all right. It's all right. No one's going to hurt you.
All right, everyone. You've all had your look. What do you say we let this poor creature get its beauty sleep?
Hey, during all this Mangala talk, we have been neglecting Julie and her fiance's rapid wedding planning.
See, I like that. I don't like weddings. I don't enjoy that at all. It doesn't excite me like a, caveman guy does. But I understand we have to talk on it because I do not like the idea of Julie leaving and Australia or whatever, English veterinarian stealing her away. Why? Where are we in this?
Back to the grandma's wonderful home. And then his brother shows up.
Yeah. Yeah, let's add another dude for no reason.
Add one more character to the show.
Yeah, he comes running out, and then wait, what happens?
They start talking about the wedding, but prior to this, Julie comes out in the grandma's wedding dress. That fits her perfect. And then the fiancé comes out. I don't know if this is a foreshadowing or what, but you're never supposed to see your bride in her wedding dress before your wedding. But he's full on there, and then once again, they're kissing. And she points out that it's bad luck.
Don't turn around, Grandma Selkirk. Close your eyes. I have a surprise for you.
I promise I won't look until you tell me to.
Okay, you can open your eyes now. Oh, Julie, it's magnificent on you. Oh, this dress brings back memories. Thank you so much for letting me wear it.
I just hope you both find as much happiness together as Tony's grandfather and I did.
Thank you.
Well,
doesn't he look lovely?
aren't you a vision?
Oh, Tony, it's bad luck for you to see me in my wedding dress.
You're right. You better take it off immediately.
It really is bad luck.
Well, it doesn't feel like bad luck.
Do you think it's foreshadowing? We'll have to wait for the third episode to really find out.
We're not going to have to wait. It's foreshadowing. I'm pretty sure. Right. You know what I think happens? They're in Australia, right? And there's all like murderous creatures in Australia. So you know what a cassowary is?
No, I don't.
A cassowary is like the most brutal, dangerous bird on this planet. It looks like an emu, but it's worse. It's basically a velociraptor. So I feel like a velociraptor is going to kill Tony, whatever his name is. Or because this
Tiny the kangaroo is going to knock him out?
No. It's going to be like, because this is the height of like Jaws time. So maybe he goes out to save Elizabeth the koala, and it's like in the mouth of a great white shark. And so he battles the great white shark, and then he makes it to the shore, heroically. And Julie's running to him, and then a cassowary comes and kills him.
And then he gets in quicksand and dies.
Yeah, something like that, or like maybe like the mandala or whatever. Who knows? He's going to be killed in some sort of gruesome Australian way. I think that's how I'd like to see it turn out. Probably won't be quite as exciting as that.
Julie and the captain can never find true love, and it's very
never
upsetting.
Ever. Well, he could have if he just would have hooked up with the Mona.
Istvan, we're coming to the end of this episode.
You know what? I was upset because, with all of the stuff that we've been doing on the podcast, if we really want to get deep into it, we were trying to raise funds to keep us going in a normal fashion. And I think I pulled the plug a little early on the whole thing. And it is a little hard for me to jump all over the place like this. It is kind of fun, but I do really want to watch every single episode. I kind of miss doing that in a way. But this one, even though it's like, oh my gosh, now we have more to go and we have to still stay on this. I really am enjoying this episode a lot.
I am too.
And I'm enjoying that this was sort of like, sort of a cliffhanger from the previous season. And the way that it's ending up on this sort of whole scenario is really fun for me, because these guys are like having a victory sort of like drink together about finding this potential missing link. And then Jose Ferrer's talking about how all he cares about is just making some moolah. And then, of course, Vivian's got to make another dig to her husband, as far as money is concerned. And Michelle, does it look like Donna Dixon's fallen in love with a caveman, or what's going on?
Yes. She is. She's falling for him.
How can you fall? Is she really? Or maybe she's just like empathetic for this creature. I don't know, but it's like she's not having a good time because she feels badly that like this thing is in shackles down in the hold of the ship or whatever. But it's like these guys are all plotting and planning their next move and how they're going to make $1 bazillion on.
Well, only Jose Ferrer wants to make $1 bazillion off of it, Katherine Helmond, but Harry Morgan does not want to.
That's true.
He wants to study this creature.
Yeah, and so and the other guy was excited because he's like, we're guaranteed to win some sort of whatchamacallit.
Award.
Yeah. Well, then it's like as we're wrapping up this part one of a 2-part episode, Donna Dixon, having some sort of like strong feelings for this half man, half beast. She steals the fruit from the bar because that's what it looked like. She took like the thing where you have like all the garnishings that you throw in a drink to gift.
Well, he's like from the jungle, so he would.
Here's a lime and some cherries, caveman.
A banana.
So she goes down to visit him on his bed of hay. And Jose Ferrer comes down and says, "Yo, you need permission from me."
I brought you some food. Here, eat. Listen, I want you to know that I'm so sorry we took you away from your home. But don't worry. I'll never let them harm you. Never.
What are you doing? Nobody comes in here without my permission, and that includes you, Missy.
The name is Dr. McGraw, and I just brought him some food.
Well, I'm sure he'll send you a thank you note first thing in the morning, Dr. McGraw. Now, good night,
Good night.
Brought you food, huh?
That's more than you did.
Oh, the poor baby. Well, I was going to take you into the dining room, but you're not wearing a tie.
Just unchain me. My arms are getting numb.
Now, don't get testy. Everything's going according to plan.
Oh, really? You told me that the shock wouldn't hurt.
What, that little tranquilizer dart?
Yeah.
You know, you even had me fooled for a minute. You're a pretty good actor. How come you couldn't find work?
Oh, get off my back, Donna.
Pretty tough racket, eh? Well, not to worry. When we get done, you'll be rich enough to buy your own bloody theater.
But while we're on the subject, how do I get out of this after we make the money? We can't fool everyone forever.
I told you, I've got a plan. You're going to escape.
How?
Let me worry about that. When the time comes, you can rest assured you'll be gone.
Plot twist.
Dude, I loved that he talked.
I was so excited when this happened.
It was so awesome that he has an English accent. Oh my God, the fact that this is some sort of scam.
He's an out-of-work actor.
It was so awesome. I was just like, I wish I had someone to high five or something like that. I'm like, The Love Boat is great.
The fact that 2 anthropologists and a professor fell for it is amazing.
They're not very good at their jobs because they're being fooled by some out-of-work actor. What a twist. You have Julie getting married. It's like everything and everything is in this episode.
I'm going to say this. Listener Chris, who initially suggested this for us to watch, bravo.
We're sending you money right now.
Yeah, really.
I mean, we would like to make money from the podcast, but honestly, I think we need to send her something like $5 at least.
It's amazing.
Because this is great.
And I am so excited for part 3.
Dude, Patrick Duffy can't read. We don't even know what's going on with that yet.
No, because they really haven't revealed anything yet.
Oh my God.
Will Julie get married? I don't know. What's going to happen with the actor / Mangala?
Oh my God.
So many unanswered questions.
Guys, this one kills. This one's great. This is season 5 and they're still kicking ass. I mean, like the Love Boat's still killing it with this episode. And I mean, like they really are going for broke. So it's like, I'm looking forward to it. We are going to try. I don't know if I can do it, you guys, because again, the reason that all of this is taking long these days, for anybody who doesn't know, I perform, I do concerts. The summertime is my busiest time, and it is absolutely crazy. I won't go into the details of it, of how taxing it can be, but it really is. And it's just like I have this window of time, and I do have another little weird window of time that is unusual for me coming up. So we definitely will be able to get to the next episode within the near future.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, so who knows? I mean, maybe I'll even try to pump this out. Maybe we could try to do it in a week. I'm not making any promises, but it will not be nearly as long of a wait. And if you guys have any other episodes that you would like to watch, I can't remember what we're looking at anymore. I've got to be honest.
We've got a few more suggestions, a couple more suggestions that we have to look into, but keep them coming.
Okay, because I do love doing the show. Michelle loves doing the show. We love doing the show, and I'd love to talk about every single episode, quite honestly, because it's so fun, and I love watching the show. It's just trying to make the whole thing work. Again, it's why we were trying to raise funds for this, because it is like a literal part-time job to put all of this together. But we super appreciate you guys listening, appreciate you guys sending messages to us and all that. And again, if you have any thoughts and an episode that you would like us to cover, please let us know. And again, check the Instagram.
Yes, please follow us. Have your friends follow us.
And maybe the question I'm going to ask is, what would you name both of Bernie Coppell's testicles? Because you are going to see those in one of our next Instagram posts. But until then, I am Istvan.
I'm Michelle.
Captain Stubing, please come to the bridge.
And we are
Lovin' the
Loveboat.
Loveboat.